Welcome to F1 for Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. So, episode 63 of Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, and this is primarily going to be focused on the WNBA, my WNBA awards show for the 2025 season. But I'm going to start with that's going to be the main topic. That's going to be the last topic I get into. But I'm going to actually start with is WWE is heading to Saudi Arabia. Well, they've been heading there the last few years, but WrestleMania will be in Saudi Arabia in 2027. So that's going to be WrestleMania 43. And it's raised a lot of controversy. A lot of people are mad about the decision for WWE to take WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia. But WWE's been working with Saudi for a while. I think it was 2018. It was their first event in Saudi, and the partnerships went really well. They've had some good events. Obviously, when it first started, it wasn't that good because Saudi really, they just got to pick the matches that they wanted. And then with TKO in charge, it's more, even though Triple H isn't, he the head of creative, but it's still people above Triple H. And it was, even when Vince was in charge, there was people in Saudi that was above him, and they got the matches they wanted for the most part. But that's why you got some of those older legends coming back to have particular matches. But the partnership, for the most part, has went pretty well. The arenas are usually sold out. Usually most superstars get a good reaction there. Some don't. Some more than others. And obviously some people get booed, which is certain people that don't make sense. But I think with WrestleMania going international, I think that's a great thing for the business because WrestleMania, it's only taking place in the United States and Canada. So you've had your Vegas, your California, New York, places like that have had WrestleMania, and Canada, of course, that's the only country that's not America that's been able to get a WrestleMania because of how close America and Canada are. And really in sports in general, with Canada having multiple teams, they got multiple sports teams. Like they got the Maple Leafs in hockey, they got the Raptors in basketball, then they got their own Canadian Football League. So Canada has a good partnership with Warren Moon. Really got his start in the Canadian Football League, and that's what led to his rise to becoming one of the top NFL quarterbacks. Then it's a few other teams in the Toronto Blue Jays and the MLB. So Canada and America have been pretty close. So to see events happen in Canada consistently, that's made sense. That was their first ever international WrestleMania. But WWE is a worldwide thing. WWE is a global, more now than ever, with so many the international tours that they have and so many international events. I had an international tour earlier this year. We've had earlier start times. We've seen Raw take place in France, SmackDown be in Germany, and have shows in Brussels and places like that. I think Brussels is Germany, but this is a good thing in my opinion. I think maybe some people are going to disagree with Saudi being in the first place. I really think the only negative with Saudi is that the women can't dress how they want to, and obviously that's the rules that Saudi has, that they don't allow women to wear certain clothing to where they don't want them to be too revealing. So I get that the women are going to be wrestling in super high suits, but then the Royal Rumble is taking place in Saudi Arabia as well this upcoming year. And the deal with Saudi Arabia ends in 2028, but this could be a step in extending it. The year before their deal ends, 2 years before their deal ends, they get a Royal Rumble in 2026. Then in 2027, they get a WrestleMania. So those are two of the big four pay-per-views that WWE has. So maybe, and then they always get Crown Jewel or something like that. Like you had Night of Champions in Perth, Australia. So you're having more international pay-per-views. So I struggle to see where the bad is in this, aside from the women not being able to wear what they want. And there's certain black wrestlers that don't get the certain reception that people think they should. But if the wrestlers have to advocate for this themselves, you can't, as a fan, we can't be advocating for these wrestlers all the time if they won't advocate for themselves. If they truly feel a way about going to Saudi, that needs to be a conversation they have in private with Triple H. And it shouldn't be something that we know about. Or if it is, then it should be, once the partnership, if it's a chance to extend the partnership, they should have it in. Like the wrestlers have to advocate for themselves first. So that's the wrestler's job, in my opinion. They're gonna have to advocate for themselves, and they gotta let the higher ups know that this is not what they about. They don't want to go to Saudi anymore. They don't want to be here on a consistent basis. They don't want the bigger events here. Like if they truly feel a way, they need to let that be known. But CM Punk, if he truly felt the way about Saudi, he wouldn't have went there and took the money that they was offering him. Because I know CM Punk got a bag to go to that Night of Champions, which was in Saudi, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot where. It was a different event in Perth. Was that might have been Elimination Chamber. But CM Punk willingly went to Saudi. Sami Zayn willingly went to Saudi. And these are people that had issues with Saudi Arabia, but they still went there because they know that they were getting a bag. So if these wrestlers truly feel away, then they had to speak out on it. And then the target wrestlers for not saying stuff, like Bianca Belair is just speaking how she feels. So let Bianca Belair be. Don't target her for saying how she truly feels about the situation. She might feel differently than she does, and that's okay. But don't attack Bianca Belair personally for no reason. But I think it's not even. I think this is a step in the right direction because you taking WrestleMania outside of the USA and outside of Canada and giving the second ever international WrestleMania to Saudi, and that's a step in the right direction. Because then it opens the doors for London, for France, for Germany, maybe South Africa. Like it opens the doors for all these other places in the future to, oh, maybe we get WrestleMania 50 in France. Maybe we get WrestleMania 52 in Puerto Rico. It's like this, if this WrestleMania goes well, it's going to be a step in the right direction, opening up the doors for WrestleManias to take place in other international places. So I don't see where the bad is in this. Now, that covers how I felt about my thoughts with WrestleMania 43 taking place in Saudi. Now, let me get to my TNA Impact recap as I do this every week now. So, Impact, it was a good show. It was a good show. I enjoyed it this week. Show started with Moose taking on AJ Francis. This was a cool match. Moose was in control early on. You had Moose driving AJ Francis into the ring post. And then Mustafa Ali was on commentary. Order 4 got involved as well. But Ali accidentally kicked AJ Francis while the ref wasn't looking. And then Moose was able to take advantage of that, spear AJ Francis, and got the win. It was just too much involvement for AJ Francis not to get the win. Like, I'm glad that Moose got the win, but if you're going to have that much involvement, just let AJ Francis win the match. But it was still a solid match for what it was. Then you had Joe Hendry taking on Eric Young, where that was what was supposed to happen. But it was one of the guys from the Northern Army instead, which was a full one-on-one match. It was a good way for Hendry to get some momentum going, that he's taken a few L's lately. So that was good. And then that allowed Joe Hendry to eventually get the win. He escaped out of the ring. Then what happened after the match, I didn't like with Eric Young attacking the Northern Armory. Because this partnership ain't really lit, and then they haven't elevated the Northern Armory. They haven't had many segments or promos to really make you buy into them as this credible threat. So it was just kind of weird. So this is where, like, the beginning of the show was really weird to me. And like, I felt like it kept going downhill, even with the next segment with Victoria Crawford with her random promo calling out Gia Miller, then talking about starting a podcast, and then Jody Dredd coming out there to break it up. Like, this just felt all over the place. So without these first 3 segments that we've seen on Impact, I was like, this show isn't headed in the right direction. Then they flipped the switch with the Fatal 4-Way with all 3 of the Rascals, which is Trey Miguel, Myron Reed, and Zachary Wentz. And then that Fatal 4-Way took place involving Jake Something as well, who played the heel in this match, even though Jake Something is kind of like a tweener. But the other 3 guys, all part of the Rascals, came out together, which was stupid because it's a Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match for Leon Slater's X Division Championship to see who will face him next. But the Fatal 4-Way was a good match. The Rascals worked well together in the beginning to take down Jake Something. That was the goal. And they was able to do that. Marvin Reed. And now it was, Jake Something, he really wasn't phased. And then Jake, like, he looked dominant throughout the match, which was a good sign because it took a lot to get him down. So they made him feel important to make it seem like, oh, he can definitely be important in this mid card. Then the Rascals, they finally went at it, and Trey McGill and Zachary Wentz, they threw a few blows at each other, went at it. And then it took a while before they got Jake Something down, but they were finally able to do that. And then, got to flip to the other page of my notebook. Then Marvin Reed, as the Rascals was fighting each other, Marvin Reed was able to hit a 450 to Jake Something. And then Miguel and Wentz stayed battling on the outside. And Marvin Reed, he ended up winning to become the number 1 contender for Leon Slater's X Division Championship. And that match is going to take place at Victory Road, which I'm excited for that. Because Marvin Reed, he's looked great since he's arrived on the scene. I mean, I think he's been there before, but since he's came back, I'd say. Then next, you had some women's action with Jessie McKay taking on Heather by Elegance. And I made a short about this. These 2 matches that they had, because what followed there was Cassie Lee versus M by Elegance. So these 2 matches, it did a good job building the story, which was already there. And this just further advanced it, leading to the tag team match. Excuse me. This further advanced it, leading to the tag team match, which I thought was good. Because then Jason McKay and Heather, they had a solid match. But Empire Elegance got involved, had his foot on the rope, which would end up leading to a win. And then the Elegance brand attacked them post-match. But the inspiration was staying tall. That led to Cassie Lee taking on Empire Elegance, where Cassie Lee would get the win. So the inspiration and the Elegance brand went 1-1 against each other on Thursday night, leading to the tag team match that's going to take place at Victory Road for the Knockouts tag titles. And I think that's when the inspiration should win. It's going to be the perfect moment. And Headed by Elegance, Ash by Elegance has a match that night for her TNA Knockouts Championship. So up to this point, the show went really well. Once that Fatal 4-Way happened, the show really picked up. And then you had Mike Santana, who was supposed to have a match with somebody. I don't know who it was supposed to be against. But Trick Williams was in a hoodie, came up behind him through the crowd, attacked him. And there was a brawl. I think the brawl was kind of pointless because it didn't really lead to anything. Security just came out. So it's like, it is like he just showed up just to attack Mike Santana when he could have just showed up and made him lose the match. I felt like whoever he was supposed to face, that would have did more for them, and they would have been able to get a win over the number one contender for the for the TNA World Championship. But it is what it is. And then the main event was the Nimitz taking on the System, which was Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, since Moose already had a match and JDC wasn't on the card. But Brian Myers, Nick Nimitz, they got the match started versus each other. Nick Nimitz, he was isolated by the System early on in the match. And Ryan, when he came in there, he was able to get his team back in control of the match. And he delivered multiple blows to Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and Nick Nimitz. They finally went at it. And then they both looked good at it. They had similar ideas, hit their similar moves to each other. Then Order 4 came out there in this main event. Eddie Edwards wiped them out. He wiped out the Gray Hands. Ryan Spear, he speared Brian Myers. Then Nick Nimitz hit the danger zone on Eddie Edwards, and the Nimitz brothers ended up winning the match. But I give Impact a 7.5 out of 10. It was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Well, not from start to finish because it started slow, but it had a great finish to that episode of Impact. So with that being said, it's time to get started with the most important segment of this podcast episode. It's time to talk about WNBA awards, my award selections for each award. And this is my opinion. So if anybody disagrees with me, that's fine. But this is who I have for each individual award: Rookie of the Year, DPOY, Sixth Woman of the Year, Coach of the Year, Most Improved, All WNBA, All Defense, All Rookie MVP. So I'm going to get into all that. I'm going to start with Rookie of the Year, then I'm going to end with MVP. So let's just get started with Rookie of the Year with the three candidates I have up here. I have two of the ladies from Washington, and Kiki Area Fan and Sonia Citron. And then I also have Paige Beckers on here. These are my three candidates for Rookie of the Year. These three stood out the most. These are the only three that I think will be unanimous All WNBA Rookie First Team. And these three have been phenomenal from start to finish this season. Like off the gates, you could tell that these women are going to be great. And I think at the 3 spot, I have in third place, I have Kiki Area Fan with Washington, putting up 13 points per game, 1.6 assists, 8.5 rebounds on 48, 18, 78 splits. Another 18% because she's only taking about 0.3 threes per game. She's not taking many threes. But Kiki Area Fan, I think the one area of improvement could be in the field goal range because she's a forward. She's a power forward, and she's shooting the same field goal percentage as Sonia, who's a shooting guard. We're not saying we're only 1% better. So she gets that up a little bit, and she's going to be fine. But she had a great season. Gave Washington some solid defense. They were in playoff position for a while. Obviously, they didn't finish there. But the two rookies they had, this team was really good. Well, not really good, but they had a solid season. And then Sonia Citron, who I have second, put up 14.9 points per game, 2.4 assists, 1.3 steals, 4 rebounds on 47, 44, 87 splits. So that's just very efficient. And that's why I had to have Sonia Citron up here because she's so efficient, shooting 47% from the field as a shooting guard and also shooting 44% from three and 87% from the free throw line. Like in a few years, that's going to be up to 90%. And she had a season where she's shooting this well from three in her first ever season, I can only imagine it goes up from here. And if it stays the same, that's fine because 44% from three is amazing. So you can't downplay that. But the woman I have the rookie of the year is Paige Beckers. She, even though she missed 11 games and the Wings weren't in the playoffs, neither were the Mystics either. They might have been in playoff position for a good portion of the season, but they didn't end up making the playoffs. But Paige Beckers averaging 19.2 points per game, the most by any rookie this season, putting up 5.4 assists per game. I don't know if that's the most by any rookie. It could be giving you 1.6 steals per game and 3.9 rebounds per game. So she's doing it. One of the best playmaker coming out the draft, the best scorer, and then she's shooting 47, 33, 88 splits, and that 33% from three is only on 3 attempts per game. So out of every 3 threes she's taking, she's making one, which that's not bad. She's only taking 3 threes per game. She doesn't need to take a lot of threes. She's putting up 19 points, only averaging 1 3 per game, 1 made 3 on 3 attempts per game. Also shooting 88% from the free throw line, so I can only imagine that's going to rise in the future. Shooting 47% from the field, so that as you see that 3-point percentage isn't holding her down. The parents only shoot the same percent from the field, and she's putting up 5 more points. And she's also giving you 1.6 steals per game, so she's giving you a little bit of perimeter defense. It might not be amazing, but if the Wings, it could be. If we move off Enrique soon and just build completely around Paige, I think it's only up from here. Like I don't think Enrique is holding Paige back, but I think we should fully invest in the Paige and see what we can get with Enrique and just build around Paige and make her the future of our team. And then and all 3 of these women were all stars this year. So you can't, but I think Paige is I think she's the most obvious choice. I think this is my award show, so Paige is my rookie of the year. And that's my opinion. She's the best scorer and playmaker out of this draft class. That's what she's shown this season. She's also efficient. Aside from the 33% from three, when you can't just look at 3-point percentage, you got to look at the attempts per game as well. Like I said, with Kiki area fan, you have to ignore that she shoots 18% from three, which she only takes 0.3 per game. She's not taking that many threes. In 3 games, every 3 games, she's taking 1 3 essentially. And she might not, and she probably isn't making it most of the time, but she's not taking 5 threes and only hitting one up to where she's at 20%. No, she's taking 1 3 per 3 games. So even then, you just need the field goal percentage to go up a little bit, and if the free throw percentage can rise, like she's gonna have a great future. And I like the defense that I've seen from Kiki area fan. Yeah, she's had multiple double doubles this season. She really had. I see why she was an all-star. But like I said, Paige, she's also efficient and she's giving you solid perimeter defense. I think she's giving you better defense than what Sonya is. And Sonya isn't terrible. I just think that Paige is slightly better on the defensive end. Now, Kiki is the best defender on this list of these 3 ladies, but Paige and Sonya do so much more offensively to where I have to put those 2 above her. And then Paige, it's a gap between Paige and Sonya, in my opinion. At least for now, it's not a crazy gap, but I don't think it's as close as people want to make it seem just to downplay Paige because you didn't get as many wins. Like, wins is a team stat. You can't, like, obviously individual success is going to help with that, but if Enrique is struggling and then we trade Dajanay Carrington at the deadline, how is our team supposed to get wins in that equation? But for rookie of the year, I got Paige first, Sonya second, and Kiki third. It's a really close race this year. But with that being, now I'm going to get into defensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year, I think this is an easy choice in my opinion. I would go with A'ja Wilson, giving you 7.9 defensive rebounds per game, putting up 1.6 steals per game and 2.3 blocks per game. And I'm going to talk about A'ja Wilson a little later for what she does on the offensive side of the ball. But let's just stick to defense right now. She's giving you nearly 8 rebounds per game, giving you over a steal and a half, and over 2 blocks per game. She's elite defensively. She's one of the best on both sides of the ball. And that can be said for another woman I have on here. Her defense is so elite that she's getting you a rebound. She's holding up positions. She's getting steals. She's blocking shots. She's doing it all defensively. It's not nothing that A'ja Wilson can't do on the defensive side of the ball. She's just had another phenomenal defensive season to where I think she needs to be rewarded again for her phenomenal defense and the Aces ended the season on a 16-game win streak to get the 2nd seed. And her defense definitely plays a factor into that. But another woman on the Aces who I think deserves some love to be in that conversation is Dajanay Carrington. She won Most Improved last year and was on all defense last year. But the reason why I put Daljanae Carrington in this race as well and have her in second place is because she put up 2.5 defensive rebounds per game and 1.1 steals per game. And the Aces getting her at the deadline was perfect. It benefited them the most because they were struggling at the deadline. And once they got her, they completely flipped the switch because this turned into a completely new team. She giving them great defense, giving them not just great, but amazing. Giving them amazing defense. So that's definitely something that they needed on that team. If they was, like I said, still struggling early on in the season. Wait, who did I say? Did I say the Aces? No, I'm tripping. I said the Lynx. I'm still thinking about Adrian Wilson. But no, it was a trade at the deadline that the Aces made. I don't know why, but Aces for Daljanae Carrington. That's okay. That was a mistake. Hold on. I'm tripping. We traded Daljanae Carrington to Minnesota. But no, I still think Daljanae Carrington, she's been impactful for Minnesota and giving them good defense. And that's just one thing that she's prided herself in throughout her career, for where she started to where she's at now. And even with Dallas, her defense was still decent with us, but it didn't lead anything. And she was carrying a much bigger offensive load with Paige being out for a few games early in the season, with Enrique not being on nothing really until a post All-Star break. So it's like she got to a better situation and made a good defense, a great defense. And speaking of the Minnesota Lynx, Nafisa Collier, 5.4 defensive rebounds, 1.6 steals per game, 1.5 blocks per game. She got to be up there as well. Like the Lynx success, they won't be as successful as they are without the defense that Nafisa Collier is giving them. She's giving them elite defense. And she's one of the best defenders in the league this entire year from start to finish. Like they got out to the hottest start in this WNBA season, them and the Liberty, but they stayed hot throughout the season and only lost 10 games this year, went 32-10. Their last loss was against the Aces, if I'm not mistaken, who was on a 16-game win streak at that point. So, Minnesota, they have a great defense, and I don't see them not winning the championship this year. I know the Aces have been hot, but I still think the Lynx are going to win the championship when it's all said and done. Now, for Sixth Woman of the Year, this was a tight race. This was a tighter race than what I was expecting going into the season. But at number 3, I don't know why I did 1-3 on DPOY, but from 3 to 1 for Sixth Woman of the Year. At 3, I got DeWanna Bonner. Even though she forced her way out of Phoenix in a really weird way, she played 33 games this season, only started 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And she put up 9.8 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 1.2 assists on 40, 33, 87 splits. Like I said, I don't like how she forced her way out of Indiana. That was just a weird situation. But she got to Phoenix, added them a new element coming off their bench, and just really helped this team. Like, obviously, they were good when they got her, but she really helped this team, and she felt she was contributing more, and she felt more important on that team than what she did with Indiana. I don't really know what was going on with the fever to where she wanted to force her way out. But she did a good job with Phoenix coming off the bench, and it was no problems with that. At number 2, I got Naz Hillman from Atlanta. 44 games played, started in 17 of them. That's the only reason why I put her a bit down, because she didn't start at 17 compared to the woman that I have at 1 who hasn't started at all this year. But Naz Hillman put up 8.6 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 2.4 assists on 46, 32, 81 splits. So she's really just been a good all-around player coming off the bench for Atlanta. The Dream finishing with a top 3 seed, and the rise that the Dream had this season, going from 15 wins to 30 wins. Like, that's one of the biggest turnarounds we've seen in WNBA history. And Naz Hillman, she contributed to that coming off the bench, and it was the reason why she was able to start at 17 out of 44 games she played. She played in every game, and she started in 17 of them. So obviously she's still going to be in the race, but it's just them 17. It's like she's so good coming off the bench that in certain games she was able to, like, she's just so good in general that in certain games they couldn't have her come off the bench. Whether that's with the injury or whether her just being a better fit for the lineup during that particular game. She's the perfect sixth woman for that team, that she can fit into any role they need her to. But for my Sixth Woman of the Year winner, I had Natasha Heidemann from Minnesota. In 44 games played, didn't start a single one, but she put up 9.1 points per game, 1.9 rebounds, 2.8 assists on 49, 37, 76 splits. So pretty efficient for the most part, almost 50% from the field, shooting 37 from 3, which is very impressive. Then giving you essentially 2 rebounds, 3 assists per game, and 9 points. So she's giving you a bit of the all-around game too. Not to the extent of Alyssa Thomas or what she's doing in Phoenix, but she's still a pretty good all-around, getting a few assists, getting a few rebounds, really just doing a little bit of everything to keep your team afloat. In Minnesota, why do you think they were so good this season? You had great depth. You got the MVP candidate. You got a DPOY candidates, all defensive team candidates. Like you have a great coaching staff. Then you got a good six woman. Why else would this team be so good? Like this team is gonna get rewarded. And they might not, but they're gonna get rewarded here on F1 Sports. That's what they're gonna do. Now for MIP, this one was an obvious choice, but I'm gonna go from 3-1 once again. So for 3, I got Angel Reese at 3. I know she missed a few games, but Angel Reese, her points per game went averaged 14.7 points per game. That went up by 1.1 points compared to last season. 3.7 assists per game went up by 2.2. And Angel Reese has really improved her playmaking. Like from last year to this year, she's a really improved playmaker. So Angel Reese has been doing a great job in Chicago. Obviously, it seems like she's out the door soon, but Angel Reese should definitely be in this. She's definitely in this conversation. 1.5 steals per game, up 2.2 from last year. Then her field goal percentage and free throw percentage rose as well, and people still question why she was an all-star. Her field goal percentage was below 40 last year. It was like 39 something. She shot 45.8% from the field this year. That's a 6.7% improvement from last year to this year. That's very impressive. Then her free throw percentage went up by 2%. She's shooting 75.6% from the free throw line now. So from back to back, so she's only been in the league 2 years, and obviously you're supposed to be in the top pick. Your goal is to try to improve, but as much the media, as much the way she's perceived, I feel like it's only right to put her in this conversation because I think I don't have her winning the award, but I do have her at 3 for MIP because Angel Reese, with her points per game going up, her becoming a more improved playmaker, her efficiency getting better, I have to give her credit for that. I don't see how people would discredit Angel Reese. But at number two for MIP, I got Azura Stevens from the LA Sparks, putting up 12.8 points per game, a 3.2 rise, 2.1 assists per game, 0.2 rise from last year, 8 rebounds per game, one rebound per game rise. She's just been really good for the Sparks, and obviously they didn't make the playoffs, but they were damn close to it. With Cameron Brink coming back from her ACL injury, and them getting started, signing Kelsey Plum, they were pretty damn close to the playoffs, way closer than last season. And people call them the Sparks season a failure. This is still a new team. Like this, they still got to put the pieces together. But this team is definitely gonna be in the playoffs next year. They made the right moves. They got the right pieces. But everybody's like they didn't have to immediately make the playoffs. Like they still got time with Kelsey Plum, and the other ladies that they have, De'Erica Hamby, Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink. Dan Stevens, she shooting 47% from the field, 38% from 3, 79% from the field, and she's improved from last year to this year. Like you didn't hear much about Azurá Stevens last year, and maybe you heard a little bit more because the Sparks were better, but she contributed to the Sparks being better than what they were. But the MIP is an obvious choice. This was easy for me. Veronica Burton, she came out of nowhere. Veronica Burton wasn't on none of these last few years, but Veronica Burton, she came in for the Sparks. They got her in the expansion draft. She put up 11.9 points per game, which is 8.8 points better than what she did last season. 6 assists per game, 4.1 assists better than what she had last year. That was rebounds. Now, what's that? Did I put assists twice? Now I gotta look at Veronica Burton stats because I think I'm tripping. Okay, where's the? But Veronica Burton, she was a welcome addition to the Sparks. To the Valkyries, because the Valkyries, this is their expansion team. So getting her in this expansion draft was really crucial to have that. Okay, I meant to put for. Okay, that's rebounds. But like I was saying, 11.9 points per game, 8.8 points better than what she put up last season. 6 assists per game, 4.1 assists better than last year. 4.4 rebounds per game, 3 rebounds per game better than last year. Then 1.1 steals per game and 0.6 blocks per game, both career highs for it. This whole year has been a career high for Veronica Verdon in the 44 games. She played in all 44 games and started in all 44 of them, playing 29 minutes a night and also shooting on 38, 34, 87 splits. So Veronica Verdon has had an amazing season, even though she's only putting up nearly 12 points. The Valkyries are in the playoffs, and I'm going to talk about the Valkyries a bit more in the next award I'm trying to get into. But Veronica Verdon is definitely the MIP to me. I think this is easy. I don't know how the media gonna see it, but this is how I see it. Veronica Verdon, she's the MIP in my opinion quite easily. The rise that she's had really going to nothing, being she was with Dallas, she was with my Wings for 2 years, then she was with Connecticut, but she never really got that shine, never got that spotlight. She wasn't starting many games. She started 20 games in 3 seasons. Then this season she started all 44 games as a positive impact and looked really good this year. So yeah, Veronica Verdon for MIP is an easy choice. But what's and now Coach of the Year. Let's get into this award. At number 3 for Coach of the Year, I got Show-Wekly. But the Lynx are 34-10. They're the first seed, have a 77.3 win percentage, the best win percentage in the league by far. But it's just the stories of the other 2 coaches I have above Show-Wekly. Like, she did a great job. But at number 2 for Coach of the Year, Carl Smexko. I might have said his name wrong, but Carl Smexko, the coach of the Atlanta Dream, a 30-14, most wins in franchise history, and the most for a first-year head coach. Won 15 games more than they did last year. This Atlanta Dream team went to the playoffs as an 8 seed with 15 wins last year. They were 15-25. They were 10 games under 500. Now a season later, they're 30-14. They're 16 games over 500 a season later. You don't see that type of turnaround very often. But the way that Atlanta turned that around, that was very impressive to me. And that's had a phenomenal season. They're a top 3 seed. They're tied with the Aces for the second best record in the league. Then the Aces got the tiebreaker, so the Dream finished as 3rd seed this year. But that's such an amazing turnaround that you have to put Carl in this conversation. But Coach of the Year easily goes to Natalie Nakaz of the Golden State Valkyries. 23-21. 8th seed, first ever expansion team to make the playoffs in their first year. That's true. And it's not just based off the story, but it's the fact this is the expansion team. Expansion teams usually struggle in their first seasons, and they had multiple injuries to Tiffany Hayes, to it was somebody else on that Valkyries team. It was Tiffany Hayes and somebody else that had crucial injuries that was really detrimental to this team. It was Tiffany Hayes and Kayla Thornton. I don't know why I forgot her name. Tiffany Hayes and Kayla Thornton had injuries, and people thought that that the future looked weak for the Golden State Valkyries. But Natalie still pushed this team into a playoff push. They're 23-21, 2 games over 500 in the playoffs. The first ever expansion team to go to the playoffs in their first year in WNBA history. So she's easily Coach of the Year in my opinion. It's not just a story, but it's the fact that they have multiple injuries that left 2 of their top players out for the season. It's an expansion team. None of these women have chemistry with each other. This is a completely new team, a new system that these women got to get used to, and they made it work. Now they're the 8th seed. Now they're taking on the Aces. Lynx, which the Lynx are probably sweeping. But I would like to see it go 3 games. Like if they get even if they lose versus the Lynx, if they get swept, they still got to the playoffs in their first year. You can't take that away from them. This is a very impressive season for the Golden State Valkyries. No matter how you shape it, this is a very impressive season. And now for all rookie first team, the all WNBA rookie first team, I will go, like I said, it's 3 women that were unanimous on here. That's Paige Becker, Sonia Citron, and Kiki Area-Fan. These 3 easily making all rookie team. But the other 2 women I have, Dominique Malonga from Seattle, her defense is amazing. She's going to be a top defensive player in this league. And in the future, I say in about 2 or 3 years, she's going to win a few DPOYs. Like that woman is elite defensively. And I don't think she's going to make all defense, but I think because the 4th position is so stacked, she's not going to make it this year. But next year, this Seattle team, I don't know who I think Seattle is I forgot what seed Seattle is, but in the playoffs, yeah, you're gonna have to worry about Dominique Malonga. Like, she is like that. They got the Aces. The Storm got the Aces. That's gonna be a fun ass series. That's gonna be a fun series. I don't care what nobody say. And then for the other four position, Janelle Salone for the Golden State Valkyries, she really stepped up when the injuries to Tiffany Hayes and Kayla Thornton happened. Like I really seen her step up and take on a new role, play better defense, just look better out there, look more comfortable. Like she's just gotten more comfortable throughout the season as the season goes on. And she was one of the rookies that she was the one rookie that Golden State was actually able to keep. So she did her thing. Shout out to Julian Salone. Now for the All WNBA rookie second team, even though Connecticut was terrible this season, their future is very bright. Because I have three women from the Connecticut Sun on here, which is Sanaa Rivers, Valaise Lacan, and Anissa Morrow. Like this class, like I'm just talking about them at whole, because the Connecticut Sun didn't have much going for them in general. But this team was with these three women, their future is very bright. Like I like what I've seen from these three because they each added a different element. Like Anissa Morrow, she's giving you the good paint defense, she's giving you the rebounds. Valaise Khan, she's giving you about 10 points per night, and she can do it. She can do a little bit of everything offensively, I feel like. And then Sanaa Rivers, she's like that Jose Alvarado archetype. She's giving you lockdown defense. She's not afraid to take on any challenges. So this team, their future is bright, even though they had a terrible season. Connecticut did. Sanaa Rivers, Valaise Khan, and Anissa Morrow. If all three of these women are on my All WNBA rookie second team, because they all look good this season, they've all played well. And I think that, yeah, they've had good seasons. And then Monique McConney for the Phoenix Mercury, I didn't catch on to her like late into the season, but she had some solid performances from what I saw. So I think she should be on the second team as well. Then Tahina Pau from Atlanta, she got more minutes earlier in the season, but her minutes didn't completely go away. She still got a little bit in the second half of the season, but obviously with them making a playoff push, that didn't rely on her as much to play as many minutes, but she still was valuable and serviceable in the minutes that she gave them. So I definitely say that. So those are my all rookie first and second team. Now for all defense first and second team, for all defensive first team, I got Dajane Carrington and Gabby Williams as my guards. Yeah, this Seattle team, like they got a few solid pieces defensively. Like I said, Dominique Malonga, she did her thing, and I don't think she's going to make it this year. But in the future, she's definitely going to be up there. But Gabby Williams plays lockdown defense, which is why I like Gabby Williams and Dajane Carrington. She does that as well. And like I said, she was doing it for my Dallas Wings, but we weren't winning much. And then when she went to Minnesota, we seen what she was able to do. Minnesota, because obviously Nafisa Colley was out for those 11 games, and she's just played. And they really needed her in that time to just play some great defense. Like you can't replace her offensively, but you still got Courtney Williams and Caleb McBride to rely on when it comes to the offensive end of the ball. But the defense, Dajane Carrington really picked up on that. And obviously she's great defensively. Like I said, made all defense last year, one of the most improved last year. So she's still giving you good defense, great defense, I'd say. And then at the forward spots, I got all three MVP candidates, which is Nafisa Collier, A.D. Wilson, and Alyssa Thomas. All three of these women play great defense. Like these are the three best women in today's game. And it's not just, and they don't have a weakness really. Like they're all three of them are so good offensively and defensively that really the only weaknesses it's gonna come. I'm gonna talk about that when I talk about who will have for MVP between those two women. But them being in the MVP race goes into the fact that they're all so great defensively, that they're all on the all defensive teams, and they're in the conversation. Collier and Adrian are in the conversation for DPOY. And Alyssa Thomas should be is all defensive type player. And you could even make a DPOY argument for her. So it's like these three are so elite defensively, I can't lead them off the all defensive first team. But all defensive second team, Veronica Verdon, her defense is great. She played good defense for the Valkyries. And the Valkyries, they're not going to get 23 wins for just playing terrible defense. Especially the expansion team. She was the one that really locked down. She was the one that really locked in on defense all year for the Valkyries. For the other guard, I went with Sanaa Rivers. Like I preached about Sanaa Rivers on this channel multiple times. Her defense is amazing. I love Sanaa Rivers, one of my favorite players in today's game. Reminds me of Jose Alvarado. And then I went with Elena Smith playing great. Like this Minnesota team is so great defensively. This is why they were able to get to 34 wins on the season, and why they had a 4-game gap over who was in second. So Elena Smith, I put her on all defense as well. Then Ryan Howard, Atlanta top 3 seed, going from 15 to 30 wins. And Ryan Howard, she stuck through it. She was on this team when they were terrible last year, even though they got to the playoffs. It was swept in the first round. And she's with them now when they got to 30 wins. So she really saw it through. She ain't complaining, not one bit. Ryan Howard, one of the best. She's the best defender on that Atlanta team. So in my opinion, she should be on one of the all defensive teams. Like I said, I put on all defensive second. That's that forward position too stacked for the first team, but she definitely should be on all defensive second team. But she is on my list. And then I'll go Breanna Stewart as well. Because I think we've seen the difference when Breanna Stewart was out the lineup. Because obviously she didn't play every game. She missed a few due to her injury. But we've seen how the Liberty, how they regressed. They still won a few games. But we've seen how their defense regressed without having Breanna Stewart there to protect the paint. And then it's just you got to rely on Jonquel Jones. And it's not to say that she's bad, but you can't rely on Jonquel Jones solely because you need her and Breanna Stewart both so they can play off each other. Because if one goes to the bench, then the other one can come in. But you didn't have that with Breanna Stewart going out. It was either play Jonquel Jones by the minutes or have a less reliable center back up Jonquel Jones. That's what the difference was. The difference was with that team. The defense was worse for that team in general, which is why they struggled in those first few games. My Dallas Wings was able to beat Liberty in one of those games, which was surprising because I didn't think we could pull that off. But we did. We played 3 games against them. I think we only won once, but a win is a win. Okay. But yeah, Breanna Stewart, I have her to cap off my all defensive teams. And then for the all WNBA teams, for the first team, the 2 guards I have is Kelsey Mitchell and Alicia Gray. The Indiana Fever, I don't have Caitlin Clark for the rest of the season, and Kelsey Mitchell kept this team afloat. Her and Aaliyah Boston did. So Kelsey Mitchell, she was on her thing. She looked like the best player on the Fever. She was the best player on the Fever this year. She was an all-star as she should have been. So she has to go on my first team. Then Alicia Gray is on my first team as well. Had a great season with Atlanta. With her and Ryan Howard did their thing, leading them to a 30-win season, being there from last season when they had 15 wins. Then bringing in Brittany Griner this off season, bringing in Tahina Powell for the draft, and bringing in a new coach and having 30 wins on the season. Like Alicia Gray, she did her thing. She was great. She was good on defense as well. She wasn't as good as Ryan Howard, in my opinion, but she was still good defensively, and she was given the dream great offense. And then the 3 forward positions, that's pretty obvious. Adria Wilson, Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, they're all on first team. And any ballot that doesn't have these 3 on the first team, that's just crazy to me. But in my personal opinion, these 3 I have on the first team. And I'm going to get into them once I talk about MVP. And then on second team, I go with Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart. They're still one of the top dynamic duos in the league. Even though the Liberty fell to the 5th seed, obviously they struggled with Breanna Stewart being out. Sabrina did what she could to keep them afloat. They didn't fall. They did fall to 5th. They went from 2 to 5, but they both still had good seasons. Then, along with Kelsey Mitchell, I have her team and Aaliyah Boston, who had a great season on here as well. I think her 3rd season, she really showed why she was one of the top bigs. She had an amazing season this year. And I think that her and Kelsey Mitchell, they did a great job being the engines of this team, and that she should be on the all WNBA second team. Then for my other 2 people, I went with Paige Beckers for the other guard spot, because I think she had a really good season, and people gonna say, well, we didn't get the wins, this and that. Okay, our team, my Wings didn't win many games, but you can't blame that on Paige Beckers for us not winning many games when she was injured for a few of those games to start in the early parts of the season, and Enrique had a slow start. Paige Beckers had a great season, and as an all-WNBA player, in my opinion. And then to round out the all-WNBA teams, the KK Onwumbuke, I think for Seattle, even though they're the 7th seed, I think they should still be rewarded with at least one all-WNBA selection. Because I think this team, even though it's been rough, it's been worse than last year, and I expect them to fall. I said they'll be around here. They still had a solid season. They still gave you solid production. The KK still had a good season, and she should be on all W. And she's on my all WNBA team. I don't know why I keep saying shit. This is my ballot. This is my award show. And then for MVP, This one is the toughest to decide because it's like you have it's three legit MVP candidates that all have a case for the award. And at my number three, I have Alyssa Thomas from the Phoenix Mercury, putting up 15.4 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, 9.2 assists per game, 1.6 steals, 53% from the field, 69% from the free throw line, and the fourth seed. The free throw percentage is bad, 69%. That's not good whatsoever. Then the other two women are so much better free throw shooters than she is. But she's the best playmaker here. She's giving you a triple double on a consistent basis. She's not averaging that, but she had a week straight where she had like 3 straight triple doubles. Like, this woman is amazing. Like, then she's giving you 1.6 steals per game. She's not getting many blocks. She's not necessarily an interior presence when it comes to getting blocks, but she still gets rebounds. She get, like I said, 8.8 rebounds. That's great. And being a forward, giving you 9.2 assists, that's amazing. So it's like, damn, this is a really good season. And I think she set the record with the most triple doubles in the season. But Alyssa Thomas has been phenomenal. But I can only put her as high as 3 on this MVP race. Because then you got Aja Wilson, who is a legit DPOY candidate. So is Alyssa Thomas, but she don't got the blocks to support her. And I just think that's one area she can improve in. I think her not having the blocks of the other two women and her free throw percentage being so low, but she does have a field goal percentage over Aja Wilson, and she's a better playmaker, like I said. So it's different things that you can pick apart from all 3 of these women. So let me get into Aja Wilson, who I have at 2. She's giving you 23 points a night, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists, along with 1.6 steals and 2.3 blocks. And like I said, I got Aja Wilson for DPOY. I got Aja Wilson for that award. She's my DPOY this season. And she's shooting 50% from the field, 42 from 3, 85 from the line, and the Aces got the second seed, and they just won 16 straight games. So it's like that much dominance and them rising from that. But it's like we can't ignore that they had to make a move at the deadline to improve because their offseason additions wasn't working out too well. Like getting rid of Jaleel Lloyd, it wasn't the best decision. I mean, it's still Kelsey Plum. Yeah, that was Kelsey Plum. You traded for Jaleel Lloyd, but getting rid of Kelsey Plum, that wasn't the best decision. And then it didn't work out in the early parts of the season, but they made a move at the deadline. Aja's still been great. She's been the best defensive player in ball still. But it's like, and then she's so first in so many statistical categories. It's like, damn. And then an MVP, and number 1, I got Nafisa Collier. She's giving you nearly 23 points a night, 7.3 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists, also 1.6 steals and 1.5 blocks on 53% from the field, 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. And then we start first seed. She's the second woman ever in WNBA history to shoot 50, 40, 90 splits. And the only other time it happened was Eva Davidon in 2021, and she won MVP. So for something that happened just the second time in WNBA history and for that not to be rewarded, that's crazy to me. But Nafisa Collier is the MVP to me because she's so efficient. Aja's efficient as well. And then Alyssa Thomas, she don't shoot threes. It's just free throw percentage is very bad. And then Nafisa Collier is more efficient than Aja. She shoots 3% better from the field and 5% better from the free throw line. And then on their playmaking is about similar. She got the team wins. I know she missed a few games. Nafisa Collier did. She missed 11. And people using, well, they still won games without her. That don't mean that the wins came easier. You can still win games without somebody and still not be great. Like, they got wins. Like, yes, that's winning games. Wins are important, but just because you get wins doesn't mean that the wins came easier for that. Like, the win, you can get the wins, but it can be more difficult wins, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, if you have Nafisa Collier, you're winning games by 15, and if you don't have it and you win a game by 5, that's a 10-point swing. That's a 10-point difference. So this team was winning without Nafisa Collier, but that didn't make them a better team. But Nafisa Collier, MVP, putting up 23 points a night, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.6 steals, 1.5 blocks, elite both ways, 50, 40, 90. Second time that's happened in WNBA history, and she has the first seed. Nafisa Collier is my MVP. But Aja Wilson, she's second. She's been amazing. I've been one of the best two-way players as well. DPOY, in my opinion, that's the award I would give Aja Wilson if it was up to me. Ace's second seed, 16-game winning streak that she's been the head of the snake of. Very impressive. Alyssa Thomas, a triple-double record, if I'm not mistaken. Free throw percentage is low, but she's giving you a good all-around game. But when it comes to the defensive end of the ball, she is great, but she's not amazing as compared to the other two. I think Aja and Nafisa are amazing defenders, while Alyssa Thomas is great. But Alyssa Thomas is a really good all-around player. She's a better playmaker than both of them. So that's still impressive in its own right. So all three women's got cases for MVP. I would just personally go with Nafisa Collier. Let me know y'all opinions below. That's my ballot. These are my predictions for each award. Not my predictions, but who I would give each award if I had a vote. This is my award show, so that's how I would do it. But not wrong. But I'm going to end it with athletes of the week. So for WWE, I went with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Their match on SmackDown was really good. It was way better than their first match, in my opinion. The ending was very bad, so I didn't know it was a double count of. It was stupid. I didn't really know who to pick for the winner, but they both had great showings. So yeah, it's a toss-up. For the WNBA, I went with Aja Wilson. Like I said, leading the 16-game winning streak, winning 3 games recently this past week, 3 in a row, to secure that second seed and having a 23-point game and a 31-point game. Very impressive stuff. She's my DPOY. For TNA, Martin Reed, like I said, he shined in the Fatal 4-Way. He looked great. Shout out to Martin Reed. And then for NFL, Tucker Craft, 6 catches, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. Roasted Commanders on Thursday Night Football. I did a live stream for that. That was fun. A great game from Tucker Craft. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Weekly Sports Talk with Ed. Make sure y'all leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're watching playback of this, comment your thoughts on my WNBA awards and let me know who you have winning each award and share for us to see. And I'll see y'all soon after this because I'm going to drop some SmackDown shorts. But next video will be out on Monday.